Oh, yes, we are live, if you must know.
All right, we're back. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to day 30 of 31 days of content creation upload on my channel and Hendo's channel. Good evening, everyone. Hendo, how are you tonight?
I'm tired, but I'm well. How are you?
I am doing great. I can't believe the year is coming to an end, like i.e. tomorrow. And I got to write some goals down for 2025, things like that. But also the Ravens football, the regular season, not just the Ravens, but the NFL regular season is coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have one thing and one thing to say. We have made it to day 30. I see the goal. I see the finish line. We are right there. One more day, I can rest. Live streaming is done. I can't say I don't miss editing videos. I don't miss that.
Mm-mm.
This is much better. Sit down, talk, get it out the way. Bada
Yeah.
boom, bada bing, bang. But
So we'll
I'll
be
be
back.
I'll be glad to get back to the video. So today's show, what are we talking about? We talking about some Lamar. We're talking about some Ravens versus Browns. We have some players coming back. Are we previewing the game?
No, that is tomorrow night. Make sure you come back tomorrow night because it is our last day during this 31-day content challenge. There are going to be prizes, surprises. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to quickly preview the Browns game, and then we're going to move into the fun stuff. We're going to have a party.
Are we really?
We are.
For New Year's, we're having a New Year's Day party? A New
That's
Year's Eve
it.
party?
It's a New Year's Eve. Well, wait, now I'm going to church. So I will just say it'll be a New Year's Eve before New Year's Eve kicks in, kind of hang out.
Okay. Well, I made something special before New Year's Eve. You know, Twitter, it's a jungle out there. Like every time I click on it, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, now Joe Burrow, all of these things. And it brought me back to some days ago when a couple of weeks ago when Dan Orlovsky did his little thing and was like, you know what? 3 weeks left in the season. It's over. Like the race is over.
Yeah.
But, you know, he had to come back and kind of eat crow and say some things that he may not have wanted to say, but it needed to be said. So I just made a quick little something for him, for Dan Orlovsky. If you're watching, because I know that you do, this is for you, sir.
I was the big dumb idiot that went on TV 3 weeks ago and said it was over. I got caught in the moment. It was premature. It wasn't over, obviously. My bad. I owe America an apology in regards to that.
Yeah. So, you know, the Buffalo Bills, they tried to highlight Josh Allen. They tried to put him to the forefront and give him some standalone games, let him showcase what he can do. And as you can see by the stat, well, you can't see by those stats. I have some stats. His last 3 games, 59%. That was the last game. 55% the game before, 67% completion percentage. That doesn't look very MVP-ish to me. You know, and he didn't play defenses that were great. The Jets defense had potential. They didn't live up to it. The Patriots defense, it's the Patriots. Detroit, like I said, they had injuries. Their best defensive players out. They have the most players on IR, I do believe, throughout the season. So I just wanted to get this Lamar Jackson MVP talk out the way because, you know, people were going to bring it up. So I wanted to put out there why over the last 3 weeks, Lamar, who has had the lead, in my opinion, has taken the lead even further.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that graphic. That was amazing. It was great. And it was spot on. Listen, we appreciate you, Dan O. We do. And I appreciate him for coming back, admitting that he was wrong. He had to, there was no way around it. Everyone, like you said, Hendo, they moved that game. They flexed that game against the Bills and the Patriots because it was supposed to be, this is a moment where Josh Allen is really going to solidify his MVP candidacy, and we're going to put him in prime light, not prime time, but prime light in the afternoon, running into the evening, so everybody can see full display of why Josh Allen is MVP. Well, how did that work out for him? He struggled.
Yes.
He struggled against the Drake May-led Patriots. And it was like, this wasn't supposed to happen. This was not a part of the script. Meanwhile, we see Lamar Jackson out there doing his thing. And what a sight it was to see. Want to give a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you. We see you all in the chat. Tonight's going to be a shorter or abbreviated stream because the Baltimore Ravens are coming on very soon to do their episode of Wired. And we all want to watch that. So tonight's show is going to be relatively short, but just wanted to say hello. I see you all out there. All of our channel members, thank you for being here.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you all for just supporting us through the last 30 days of this challenge. Like, you show up each and every night. I'm tired of seeing me. I don't know how y'all can't be tired of seeing me, because I'm tired of looking at this camera, seeing myself on screen. Like, I'm like, what is enough? But let's get into it. You have some exciting news. Do you have some news about the Baltimore Ravens on the injury front?
I do. This brought me so much joy. I have been asking on stream after stream, hey, has anybody heard any update about Justice Hill? He went out with a concussion about a week or so ago, and I was really worried about him.
Right.
And when I kept asking any update, the only update was on Christmas Day, people saw him on social media baking cookies with his family. And I said, okay, well, that must be a good sign that he's up and at 'em. But we just hadn't heard anything from the Ravens as to how he was doing. Today, excellent news. Justice Hill returned to practice. Not only Justice Hill, we have our blocking tight end, Charlie Kolar, who went out with a broken arm maybe 4 weeks ago now, about a month ago. And earlier in December, late November, went out with a broken arm, played through it though, wrapped that thing up and then played through the remainder of the game. And then word came out, oh, he broke his arms. Wow.
Right.
But he is what I call our blocking tight end, because we know Isaiah Likely wants no parts of blocking. So he also returned to practice. Get excited, Flock. We're getting healthy. We're getting our players back right when we need them.
Yeah, Kolar got hurt versus the Los Angeles Chargers, and it was Derrick Henry. Like, he was just a little too powerful with his running. He ran into him, broke his arm. He should be all good. And on the Ravens injury front, we're starting to take form. We're not having the problems or the issues that we used to have in the past, where we were going to the end of the season looking for replacement players because people just were not healthy. And that brings me to a question. I was on one of the Ravens websites, and they were talking about how somebody, I believe from ESPN or somewhere, was talking about the Ravens should go the wild card route, because they would have an easier time playing the Houston Texans, because they just demolished them, than they would playing the Los Angeles Chargers. Once again, beat both teams, but they just figured that the Ravens should just go the wild card route. So that had me thinking, should the Ravens rest their starters for this game so that we can go into the postseason totally healthy? Now, for me, I don't think that the Ravens should do this, because I want Lamar to get his 4,000 yards. I want his 40 passing touchdowns. I'm very selfish when it comes to that. But also, I think that it's crazy that I don't hear anybody else talking about any other team should lose intentionally so that they could play a certain team. We've already beaten both of these teams. John Harbaugh has beaten his little brother every time that he's faced him. I don't see anything they're saying that because J.K. Dobbins is back and possibly fully healthy at this time, that may present another problem. Now, he did have like 40-something yards before he left the game, but I don't think that Justin Herbert nor Greg Roman has what it takes, and the Ravens defense has improved since that last game versus the Chargers. So to me, I think that is very ludicrous. It's stupid. Take the wild card route for what? Either way, we're going to have to see the Chiefs or the Bills one way or another. Let's get them when we can get them, knock them all down one by one, and go on to the Super Bowl. How are you feeling about this?
Excellent question, Hendo. I think the Ravens absolutely need to play their starters in at least the first and second quarter of the game. Keep them fresh. Do not allow them to get stale. Don't allow too much time to lapse. We know that the Ravens need to continue to keep oil on the wheel, oil on the machine so that it can keep trucking along. I'm okay with us sitting our starters the second half of the game. I'm fine with that. Even if we are, now that brings up a different question. If we are losing, I don't like that word, but if by the second half or going into halftime, we are losing, we're in a deficit, let me know in the chat, and Hendo for you as well. Do you think at that point starters need to rest? Because remember, that game, this upcoming game, is the determining game. It is the decision maker as to who wins the AFC North. And if we are in a deficit going into third, fourth quarter, we sit our starters, and that means Josh Johnson, come on. I don't know how well we're going to fare coming out of that game in terms of us winning. So let me know in the chat. What do you think about that? If we're not winning, do we continue to play our starters just to ensure that we get the win? Or do we sit them and come in second play, come in number 2 in the AFC North? What do you think?
That's crazy to me. Listen, Herm Edwards said it best. You play to win the game. That is the intent. You play to be champions, and the first step is being champions of the AFC North. So to me, even if we're losing, there's a bigger issue than that, because with the Browns, they don't even know who they're starting at quarterback. DTR. He's put up 9 points in his last 2 games. They're thinking about bringing in Bailey Zappi, former New England Patriot Bailey Zappi, to possibly be the starter. Jameis Winston. I mean, listen, Jameis, they say he has a shoulder injury. I'm not sure if he really does, but he hasn't been playing well. So if we're losing to this Browns team that lost Nick Chubb, have nothing left to play for, if we're losing in the fourth quarter, we have bigger issues than resting our starters. And for me, I think you finish the season strong. You continue going. Now, if you get a big lead, take the starters out, but you keep them with their routines. You have them play the games, and then you move on to the next week. Losing should have nothing to do with it. We want that division title. We want a home playoff game. I don't want to go on the road each and every week. Now, it's possible we've done it before in the past, but why should we have to do it now? So to me, even if we're losing, nah. Then I have to hear my brother's mouth. I have to hear about how the Steelers are the champions. We just blew it. We don't like prosperity. I pass.
Yeah, and Shug, we'll hear from him too. I agree with you. If we are losing in the second half, coming into halftime, or going into halftime, coming out of halftime, that's a bigger issue. That we need to talk about our team. What's going on? What's really going wrong here? But let's assume that we are winning, and we have a nice cushionable. I just made up a word. Is cushionable a word? I don't know. If it's not, it's fine. It's okay. We have a nice sizable lead, right? I like cushionable. I think that better. And if we do, go ahead, sit the starters. They've had some time to play. They're still going to be fresh. And then we just go ahead and take the AFC North, and we roll on. We roll right on into the postseason as we make our way to New Orleans.
To Nolans.
That's it. That's where we are on our way to. So there you go.
We won our last Super Bowl there. So why not have a repeat of what happened back in 2012? So listen, and like Jose just said, the Steelers might not even win that game. The way that Joe Burrow's playing, the way that Joe Burrow's playing right now, he's playing MVP type football. I can't even lie to you. Like, his numbers, amazing. It's just that defense sucks. They have costly turnovers, their time management. Zach Taylor, he may be on the hot seat. Like, he hasn't led this team the way that he should have. They lost a lot of games that they shouldn't have, and I thank them for it, because we don't have to see them a third time, possibly. But listen, go in there, handle your business. They just lost to the Dolphins and Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. You lost to that team. So if we're losing to that team, there is a bigger issue that we have going into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. And I will say this, speaking of the Dolphins, right? Mm-hmm. They are still in the hunt. The Dolphins, the Bengals, and I believe the
Dolphins, Bengals, and the Broncos.
Broncos, yes. Broncos. So those are the 3 AFC teams that are still in the hunt.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Dolphins, lose whoever they play. I don't even know who's on deck for them on this weekend. Go ahead, Dolphins, lose, get on out of the playoffs contention, and send Calais Campbell our way. I know we talked about it last night, so I'm not going to get into it again tonight.
We can get into the discussion again. I'm sorry. They play the
Bring him
Jets. They
in.
play the Jets.
Oh, the Jets are just miserable this year. They are miserable. And it's so funny, right? Because if you would have talked to any Jets fan after Aaron Rodgers got healthy,
Mhm.
after this last season, not this season, but the season before last, when he went out with the Achilles injury after 4 snaps in the first game,
Right.
it was like they were deflated, like all the air went out of their sail. And David, you can speak to this because this is your division rival, right? So you know it better than we do. The Jets were so incredibly optimistic about, oh man, we got Aaron Rodgers. He might not be the Aaron Rodgers of old, but he is still that dude. He is still that guy. And then fast forward, when he wasn't that guy, they make a trade for Devontae Adams, bring him in, and it's still terrible. So I don't know. Dolphins, they can win against the Jets because they look pretty bad. So
They can lose as well. But my thing is, I was actually sitting here thinking about the discussion that we had last night about Calais Campbell. And, I got some backlash because I was like, let the man be where he is. Let him stay. He signed a contract to be with the Dolphins. Let him stay there. Then I thought more into it, and I was like, yeah. Like I said, I'm a Calais Campbell fan. Like, on the field, off the field, man of the year candidate, great dude, used to be Hall of Fame type player. But the more that I thought about it, the more that I began to realize and remember some things, like his last year with the Ravens wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst. He had some diminished snaps. He did what he needed to do. But after that season, what really turned me off to bringing him back or making it a priority is the fact that he could have re-signed with the Ravens for less money. And the words that came out of his mouth was, I want to win a Super Bowl and play for a contender, then turned around and signed with the Atlanta Falcons. These things aren't adding up to me. Do you want to win a championship or do you not? Because going to Atlanta with no quarterback and no real team was not going to win you a Super Bowl. Then you doubled down and said, you know what? I want to win a Super Bowl. It's not with Atlanta. Let me go to Miami. He could have came back to the Ravens.
Yeah.
He could have. He didn't want to. But now that their season isn't going the way that they thought that it was going to go, now it's, just sentimentality. Let's bring Calais Campbell back. Let's get him a Super Bowl ring. I would love for him to get a Super Bowl ring, but you made your bed. Now you have to lie in it.
Listen. Okay. Yeah, you guys saw my lights go out. My brother, shout out to my brother. He bought me these lights. They're super cool, just to give, like the Ravens flare, that nice purple. Your girl didn't recharge them before the stream, so we had limited battery power, but it's okay. Next stream, I'll make sure they're recharged, and so it'll be a really nice ambience. Moving on. So with Calais Campbell, I said it last night, bring him back. I hear you, Hendo. I get it. I do. And you make a lot of sense. I can't even argue the point. Like, hey, you could have come back, Calais, but you said you wanted to go chase a ring twice. Okay. Everybody makes mistakes. And that could have been just, NFL speak for, I want some more money for my family. But he didn't really want to come out and say it. Okay, sure. I can't even be mad at you for that. You are trying to look out for you and your family because you are getting older. You don't have many more contracts ahead of you, right? The majority of your contracts are behind you at age 38.
Right.
So you're trying to get as much as you can to secure your wife, your children, your children's children. You want to make sure they're secure. I can't even be mad at that. Bring him back to add that veteran presence. I know what you're going to say. We have Matabike, who's a veteran. We have Broderick Washington. We have, how long has Brent Urban been in the league?
About 9 years.
We got Brent Urban, so I know what you're going to say. Well, we already have veterans. Mm-hmm. I understand that. But even if we bring him back just to swat down a ball, pass breakup, whatever, put him on special teams out there, deflect something, do something. I'll take it. Bring Calais back.
Yeah, okay. Now this takes us to down another road. What are the chances of the Ravens bringing back Odell Beckham Jr.? Now your man's out there. I'm not gonna lie. Your man's out there throwing out some feelers. Like he's on Twitter. He's on Twitter talking about what's up, dummy. Like he's letting it be known he wants another shot to come back with the Ravens because not many teams are going to actually that are in playoff contention are actually going to bring him in. They don't need a washed up 64-year-old wide receiver. I'm sorry. I'm speaking of his.
You're not sorry.
I'm speaking of his Achilles
You're not
in his
sorry.
ACL. I'm speaking of those. Those are 64 years old. But the chances of them bringing him back, I don't know. I mean, Nelson, he's cleared concussion protocol, and they say that he's available to play. But do they trust him during the playoffs? More importantly, do they trust Odell Beckham Jr.? They didn't trust him last year. Like he didn't play the majority of third quarters. He didn't play a lot in the fourth quarters. So what now makes you believe that him not being in football shape, him not being very productive on the year on a passing team, and I know Tua was hurt for most of it, what is he going to come back to Baltimore and bring?
I am so okay. We all want talent first. Bring someone who has talent, right? Because talent is what's going to get you to the next level. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But alongside talent sometimes comes the unspoken appreciation for a quote unquote hype man. We saw that in running back. I always forget his name. He left us, went to the Saints. Always forget his name.
He came from the Saints.
Who?
You said he left us and went to the Saints?
The running back. Our former running back.
You talking about Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram. Yes, he left us and went to the Saints. Oh, he came from the Saints. Okay. I thought he left and went back to the Saints too.
He may have gone back to the Saints, but he came from.
That's who I always see him, and I remember watching him and the big trust every time Lamar was on stage, every time Lamar was giving a presser, he was right there just yelling, screaming, hyping him up. It was just something about that. Right. We had the same thing with Marcus Peters hyping up Marlon Humphrey. And then when Marcus Peters left, Marlon Humphrey did like this. Now, thank goodness, Marlon is doing, to me, he's having an all-pro year. We call him all-pro Marlo, and we've called him that for several years. And people are like, well, he's not all-pro this year. Well, he's doing it this, he's doing it this year. So leading our team in terms of turnovers, interceptions, keep going. So you bring back an OBJ for that reason, primarily. Now, does he need to have some productivity? He does. We paid him $15 million last year for maybe 4 or 5 catches all season. Okay, I kid. I exaggerate. But the point is well taken. He was not very fruitful for us. Okay. If I had to choose, I'll leave it here. If I had to choose, okay. And I know we say, why can't we have both? Ravens, why do we always have to take one or the other? If I had to choose, you either get Calais or OBJ. I'm going with Calais.
I'm going to go with neither. Because just listen, you made a great point. Mark Ingram, great hype man. Listen, you looking at the MVP, you got a problem, come see me down at the bank. I'm right here. Like, he was Lamar's bodyguard. Yeah. He was his hype man. He was his biggest promoter. Get it. But Mark Ingram was also productive. Marcus Peters, up until his last season, was productive. Mm-hmm. When was the last time Odell Beckham Jr. was productive in this league? And more importantly, how has he had a year with Lamar? How did he hype Lamar up? I still remember in the playoffs. What you gonna do, man? You gotta do something. Somebody got to make a play. It's not gonna be me. I only make $15 million a year. Do something. Like, how is that hyping your quarterback up? You are more of a veteran than Lamar was. Yeah. You won a Super Bowl. You were on your way to winning Super Bowl MVP. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You were once a superstar in this league. So why are you not coming to Lamar saying, listen, bro, we need to do something. Like, let's figure out something, me and you. Come to me every time. You throw it my direction, I'm going to catch it. Nobody's catching it. Yeah. That's what a hype man does. That's what a leader does. He didn't do any of that. He just stood back and said, yo, I'm waiting on the next boat trip. I'm waiting to be on a yacht. So when we leave here, I'm off.
I mean, your points are valid. They are. I'm not saying that we're going to get, like excellent productivity from either one of them. Mm-hmm. But if the scales are tipped just a little bit for one over the other, to me, you bring Calais back. You do. OBJ, I I mean, it's fine if we bring him back. It's fine if we don't. But that depends on what is Nelson going to be like after his concussion? Because we know what Nelson was before his concussion. He was sometimes hands Nelson, sometimes not.
All right.
Okay. Let's just keep it real. That's what he's been this season. It's, well, I'm going to throw it deep to Nelson, and who knows what's going to happen at the end of this. So now coming back from a concussion, is he still going to be sometimes maybe Nelson, I can count on him, and most times not? I don't know. So who knows? But
therein lies your problem. That's why you have a Tylan Wallace. That's why you have a Tez Walker. These are picks that you invested in players. High picks. They may not be first or second rounders, but they were high enough picks that they can contribute to a team. They are supposed to be able to step in when others go down. They're not supposed to carry the load. They're not supposed to carry the load, but they are supposed to contribute. Tylan Wallace, in the limited opportunities that he's had, he's produced. Now, they haven't been eye-popping worldly numbers, but he's produced. So you give him a chance. OBJ out the door. This is why you drafted all this young talent on defense, to not have to bring in veterans like Calais Campbell. I'm tired of each and every season us going into the draft, hyping up all of these draft picks like, yo, yeah, that guy was a beast at that college. Like, he's going to come in and he's going to be a rotational player and do all these things. And then we end up having to go to free agency and sign somebody else because the draft picks didn't work out. So we're going to bring Calais Campbell back, who doesn't know the defense, for one. Two, we gave Zach Orr so much crap throughout the season for not knowing how to utilize players. Now you think all of a sudden he's going to flip a switch and be like, you know what? I know how to best utilize Calais. It's the playoffs. Like, he would have to be released after next game. He'd have to clear waivers. So that would be a few days. Then come in and try to learn the defense, and then play in a playoff game the very couple days later. Like, to me, that's not happening.
that's where Dean Pease comes in. Okay, I joke, I kid. Okay, stop, because I was about to end the stream right now. That's what Dean Pease comes in. Dean Pease is gonna get him right. He's gonna get him ready real quick. We're gonna have a learning curve that takes 2 seconds. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for bringing in Calais Campbell. I am. I make no. Do I understand that there are pluses and minuses on both sides? Of course there are. Sure. Is he going to come in and automatically now we are going to win the Super Bowl because we have Calais Campbell on our team? I didn't say that, but bring him in. He can be there as just a little bit of insurance. Put him in rotation. I know that's what we have Brent Urban for, but put him in rotation. Take Brent Urban out for a few snaps. There you go. It's a win. That's what I think. It's a win.
All right. David has a question. He says, do the Ravens Nation have a chant in game? Yes.
Yes.
It is. Please, baby, please, Lamar, do something. Please save us, Lord.
No,
God.
it's not.
Lamar, we need you to make a play, please. We can't lose this game again.
I hope you guys are having fun. If you are, hit the like button. And if not, don't worry about it. Hit subscribe, come back, watch another live stream. I promise you'll have fun. You'll have a good time. Just doesn't matter. Whatever happens, whatever you do, just hit a button for us and double tap that like button while you're here. Double tap the like button. Yes, we do have a chant. When we're at home, it's, will you protect this house? I will. I will. And then, you go into the RAVENS, Ravens. Now, when we are away, that's a good question. Who's been to an away game? And do the Ravens chant at an away game? And if so, what is it?
Please, Lamar, please, baby.
That's
please,
not
baby, please.
Someone else, someone other than Hendo. But good question. Yes, good question. If you have questions for us, drop your questions in the chat because we'll be ending the stream real soon. So make sure you type fast.
Okay, we do have a chant. We do have a chant at home, and this is the only chant that really matters. That's the only chant that matters around here.
Yeah.
MVP. Save this team. Save this team.
He has to. He has to. Absolutely. Yeah.
Me too.
We've talked about it. We're gonna see what happens with this MVP race. Like I said, now we're adding Joe Burrow into the equation because before it was really Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. After this weekend, insert Joe Burrow. Who else?
So the question is,
Sam Darnold.
I mean, somebody today on Twitter put up side by side stats, and they said,
Yeah.
"Listen, Bills fans, if you're talking about it's not about statistics, it's about wins."
Mhm.
Well, Sam Darnold has him beat in almost every category, so
That's right.
they can't say that. So my question is, if this weekend and they play him and Saquon Barkley shatters the NFL rushing record, should he be the MVP? Now, granted, to me, I know there's not going to be an asterisk beside it, but he did get an extra game.
I think he should certainly be in the conversation. But as I understand MVP, it's a title that generally goes to the quarterback. Not saying that that's right, not saying it's wrong, not saying there's ever been, I can't tell you who was MVP 15 years ago. I don't know. But I'm sure some of you have been watching football a lot longer than I have. You know all of the MVPs dating back to whenever the first year of that. And there might have been some other players outside of the QB position who've won it along the years. But just as long as I've been watching it, I've always seen MVP go to quarterbacks. So I think Saquon should be in the conversation, but do I really think at the end of the day he would get the MVP award, even if he breaks the record? I'm going to say probably not.
I mean, last one was Adrian Peterson.
What year?
I can't remember. I'm old. He tore his knee up, and they didn't expect him to do much, and he came and rushed for 2,000 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what year? Drop that in the chat if you know.
Yes, Alicia. Oh, that guy.
Alicia.
That guy's 2,000 came in 14 games. Amazing. He was killing it. He was killing it.
Mm-hmm. So, if you know what year that was for Adrian Peterson, 2012. Okay, so we're looking at well over a decade now that someone other than a QB has won the MVP. So, I mean, I don't know, but the circumstances were so much. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
maybe.
So the argument is quarterbacks affect the games a lot more than running backs or any other position does because they have the ball in their hands every play. And if you don't have a franchise quarterback, you're not winning in this league. How much better? To me, the question is, how much better does Saquon Barkley make the Philadelphia Eagles? I mean,
he definitely makes them better. He definitely makes them better. That's without question.
He does make them better, but were they not at the top of the league years prior?
And what did they look like last year? They were an embarrassment.
Well, they started strong.
I know they start, but to me, it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
But that had more to do with their coordinators than the talent.
I mean, it's 6-1 in basket, half a dozen in the other. The bottom line is, this is a team that started out like everybody was like, "Oh man, the Eagles, that's a team to beat," and they fizzled out straightway.
Yeah, they started 10-1.
10-1, and then after that, it was like, who? The Eagles.
It's what their fans. It's what their fans deserve.
Okay, but my point is, look at Saquon to what he's added this year. You still have the same quarterback, same head coach. So a lot of the pieces,
different offensive defense, different defensive coordinator.
I know you have a different center.
A lot of different.
You have a different center. Now, I get it. I understand.
But Saquon beasted. Saquon out here beasting.
He's doing his thing. That's my point. So Saquon, to me, has elevated the Eagles. The same can be said about Derrick Henry. Has Derrick Henry elevated this team? Yes, he has. That's not taking away anything from how magnificent Lamar Jackson is. But if you take us from 9.5 to 10, you've elevated the team.
Okay, well, we went from 14 to probably 12.
No.
I'm just saying. All right, moving on. We have anything else? Because listen, we've been in here for 34 minutes, and it's still 120 people in here
Thank
rocking out
you.
with us.
Thank
Listen,
you.
shameless plug. Now that I just thought about it. If you like what we're doing, if you like just us in general, we have some things going on outside of just football and Ravens content creation. So if you want to see another side, especially if you want to see another side of me, make sure you go over to my other channel, Hanging with Hendo. I just released a video early in the wee hours of this morning, and it gives you some tips and some tricks, and it tells you certain things, especially if you're trying to be a YouTube content creator, if you're trying to get into this space, or you just have reservations thinking, should I start a channel? Should I talk about some things? It'll kind of give you some oversight of some stuff, give you some things that may push you in the right direction, because I believe now is the time that if you want to start a channel, go out there and do it. Listen, watch the video and you're going to see and be like, oh, snap, that could be me. Yes, because I'm not even really good at this. And if you are good at this, you can do more than what I've done exponentially. So go over to Hanging with Hendo, check it out. Let me know what y'all think.
It was an awesome episode. Great listen, like he says. And even if you're not one who wants to get into YouTube, it still gives you some just points to ponder in terms of whatever it is your desire or your dream is. So you can apply it to not just content creation. Obviously, that's what he's speaking about, but whatever it is that you have in your heart that you're just like on the fence about, like, man, should I do it? I don't know. Should I start this business? Should I take that job? Should I make this move? Should I do this? It kind of just really steers you in a really good, well thought of direction. So definitely go watch it. And he can put the link after the show, and Hendo can put the link to that particular video in the description box. So if you're watching this on replay, make sure you come, click on that link and check out the video.
Appreciate it. All right. Anything else before we get up out of here?
No, I don't have anything else other than a huge thank you to all of you who've been here all December long, but not just December, throughout the entire journey of YouTube for both myself and Hendo. Come back tomorrow. We have something special for you on New Year's Eve. It won't be late at night because I'll be going to church. But before I go to church, I have to spend some time with my family, my YouTube family. So make sure you come by tomorrow evening. We got something for you. We're going to preview that Browns game, but we're also going to have some fun in the, while we do it.
And more importantly, there's only one left. One more. I get to go in hiding. It's lovely. Listen, I was tired. I'm energized now. Like, one left.
Absolutely not. No. People have asked me, can't y'all continue like at least into the, January and February when the Ravens go on this Super Bowl run? You know what? You asked for it. You got it. Now, I can't promise you every day. I can't promise you that, but I certainly will promise you that I will do my best to beg Hendo to come back and live stream a time or two as the Ravens #chase the Lombardi.
Yeah, we ain't chasing it. We grabbing it. We taking it.
Yeah.
I'm manifesting it. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm manifesting it, putting it in the air. We are about to go win the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that means the end of the football season is drawing near. But we'll still be here. Yolanda will be live streaming weekly. I'm gonna be hitting y'all with them videos. I might pop my head in the live stream like, yo, what's up? And I'm out that fast. But we are going to get up out of here. We're going to see what's going on with Ravens Wired. Prepare myself for tomorrow. Prepare myself for, Hard Knocks. So we get to see the Ravens and the Steelers all over again. I'm sorry. No, that was last week. Who did we just play? Yeah, Houston. We get to see Houston. We get to see that. So until then, until tomorrow night, we are out. Yolanda, tell the people goodbye.
Thank you, family, for joining. We will see you back very soon. Until next time, you take care, stay safe, and always remember.
It's only one more stream.
Go Ravens.